So for pretty much all my life, I've lived on a farm where we've raised beef cows, pigs, and all sorts of animals that we use as meat products. And obviously I've eaten stuff like pork chops and steak, which I enjoy a lot, but I've never liked it when I've had to cut off the fat, if there was any, on the meat. It has a weird texture, it's kind of tough and not very pleasant to eat if you have by accident. And worst of all, it's not very healthy for humans. So I grew up thinking that all fats must be bad because my parents would always tell me, make sure you cut off the fat because you're not really supposed to eat it. And I kind of had that mentality for almost all fats until I hit high school, where I found out not only were there more fats than the kind that's in red meat, but there were also healthy ones. So we have, basically all fats can be healthy except for like one, but if in small amounts, it won't do much to you, and they can actually have beneficial effects for your health. So many believe that all fats are terrible, like I did for a while, for health, because of major problems to your health that they can cause. So that's my ideograph. They can wreak havoc, especially a lot, on your heart and on your blood. A lot of them, trans fats, which are the big ones that give all fats a bad reputation. They're the ones that are found in cookies and pastries, and they're the ones that are also in a lot of fast foods and restaurants like McDonald's and Arby's and all those places. Trans fats, they are created from when vegetable oil is heated in the presence of a metal catalyst. An example was palladium, which is common in most like frying pans and such. And when this stuff hardens and cools, it like has hydrogen bond to their carbon chains, which makes them go under a chemical process, which makes them pretty much unhealthy if it gets into your bloodstream, which is why a lot of fats nowadays, they get a lot of bad rep because of the trans fat, since there's so many fast food places and it's convenient for everyone and it's just easier to get. But trans fats, they increase IDL cholesterol, which is really bad, and lowers HDL cholesterol, which is very good for you. They also cause many heart diseases like stroke. They can cause high blood pressure, diabetes, and many types of cancers can spawn from consuming this kind of fat. And basically, everyone kind of thinks that because of these fats, that fats just in general aren't good for you, and because of all the problems that they cause. But, like I said, there are many different kinds of fats, and most of them are actually pretty healthy for you, even if they're eaten in small amounts. The majority of fats actually don't cause those problems. An article from Harvard Health said that there's a whole entire area in the Mediterranean that has a high-fat diet, but has very little accounts of heart disease. And they use this by having olive oil, which was discovered in 1967. These good fats are monounsaturated and polyunsaturated, and even saturated fats, just a little bit, if in small amounts. They too are kind of healthy for you. These fats, if consumed, they help make up the cell membranes, which give us our shape and our form, and keep our cells protected. They make up the sheaths of our nervous system, which help with our impulses and such, so we have better coordination. They help in blood clotting in our white blood cells and our platelets. and they help with inflammation when we're sick and muscle movement. So, in conclusion, these fats, they're not very bad for you actually. While the trans fats, yeah, they do have a bit of a bad reputation for causing heart disease and such, and even saturated fats, if eaten a ton, they can have devastating effects on your health. But most of them, if eaten in small amounts, they can be very helpful for you and can help keep you alive.
What kind of foods can you find these fats in?
That has like good fats in it, or just fats in general?
Good fats.
Good fats. A lot of nuts and seeds, they have small amounts of this fat in them. Also, a lot of vegetables, they can contain like the monounsaturated and the polyunsaturated fats, which is actually how olive oil and a bunch of other like healthy cooking fluids actually come from. And fish is also another big one that has a lot of those healthy fats in them.
So then what kind of foods with like the bad fats should we avoid?
Should you avoid? Like I said earlier, like red meat and such, it's still healthy for you. They're the ones that have like the saturated fats. So it's not bad to eat them because they still have a lot to offer you health-wise. But don't eat too much of them because the saturated fats, even though they are kind of healthy for you, you need to eat them in limited amounts. Because if you eat more of them, it's pretty much like you're eating trans fats, which are in like a lot of fast food, restaurant food. So like French fries are a big one in their hamburgers that they have too.
So why do you think the United States grew from being one of the most healthy nations in the 90s to one of the most obese in 20 years? When
We need Caitlin Martini to the office, please. Caitlin Martini.
Foods, when you have big chain restaurants like McDonald's and Wendy's and Frisch's and everyone opening up with that, how do you keep people from eating the bad fats?
I guess the best way to keep them from doing it is to present like all these different examples of like health problems that can come from eating foods that have these kind of fats in them. So like I said, there's strokes, many types of cancer and heart diseases. They spawn from eating too much of trans fats. If we were to somehow show like these examples of what could happen if they were to continue eating these foods and keeping those habits, that it may possibly cause them to maybe go on more healthier diets.
Would you say a good way to like present the fats would like put that information in like health textbooks for like schools?
Yeah, health textbooks, that would probably be a good way to do it, or even on social media, maybe on like health websites and such, because there are definitely people who are looking for better diets and such, and they need to know what foods are better to eat for them.
All right.